business head, HITEX, to please come on stage and give the opening statement.
Distinguished guests on the dais and off the dais, it is indeed an honor to be welcoming such a renowned group of people, each a leader in his area of work. I would like to start my opening statement by thanking the members of Advisory Board of FIC Expo, Dr. Rangareddy Burri, President IFCAI, Dr. GVS Murthy, Director IIPH, and Mr. Krishna Edula, General Secretary, Society for Cyberabad Security Council, in conceptualizing and constantly guiding and supporting Team HITEX to get FIC Expo to where it is today. As a venue, HITEX has hosted more than 2,000 events since its inception in 2003. Lesser known fact about HITEX is that we organize and shows and events too. With a committed and focused team of resources, we organize a variety of shows in B2B and B2C category. Hyderabad Kids Fair, which is going into its 14th edition this year. Sportex, which is associated with the famous Airtel Hyderabad Marathon by Hyderabad runners, and Business Women Expo launched last year are among few to mention. In line with the purpose of such venues, which act as catalyst for economic growth as well as employment generation, HITEX has been bringing out own shows that matter to the city of Hyderabad and public at large. Through these events, great opportunity is provided to the needy to showcase their products, ideas, and establish as an enterprise. The way the second edition of FIC Expo has shaped up, I will not be surprised if it evolves into a most valued event at Hyderabad, attracting anyone that has to do with public health. I would like to thank Novotel and HICC and personally Mr. Manish Daya, the General Manager Novotel HICC, for generously supporting the event as hospitality partner. Now I would request Dr. Rangareddy Garu to come and give his inaugural speech, please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests on the dais and off the dais, colleagues, friends. It is indeed a great day for public health in India and probably even in the world scale. On behalf of HITEX and also Infection Control Academy of India, it is my pleasure and also the privilege to welcome you all to Public Health Innovations Conclave Expo cum Conference 2021 edition. Public Health Innovations Conclave is a unique experiment to bring all healthcare stakeholders onto one platform, and probably it is the first of its kind in India and even globally. 2021 edition, which is focused on life after pandemic, is happening at a time and at a very crucial juncture for public health in India and worldwide. We are grateful to Indian Medical Association, World Health Organization, UNICEF, Public Health Foundation of India, and more than 40 organizations who have contributed their knowledge and also support for this event. We also have, as a part of this unique event, more than 40 incubators and several non-profit organizations, speakers, experts, entrepreneurs, individuals who have made an immense contribution. I'm also thankful to the conference organizing committees and also the advisory committees who have put up together an engaging program. Thanks to superhuman efforts and sacrifices by healthcare workers, frontline workers, scientists, the governments, NGOs, and unstinting support from the communities, and the valiant fight against COVID-19 by so many unnamed paramedics and sanitary workers, we could reduce the morbidities and the mortality from the scourge of our lifetime. The fight with the current pandemic probably is going to be very long. It looks like we had to live with COVID-19 for quite some time, maybe even for a decade. As we are sitting today, we are still getting alarming updates from China, Europe, and even from small but very well-managed countries like Singapore, Israel, where the majority population is already vaccinated. The shock wave of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic and the outbreak exposed the inherent shortcomings of existing healthcare systems, brought healthcare, especially the public health, to the center stage, thus paving the way to reimagine, rethink, and reevaluate the future healthcare ecosystem. This forum, which is called Public Health Innovations Conclave, was designed precisely to accelerate all that good what has been talked about and to further improve our preparedness and break the barriers to innovation. This forum, which is happening in the year when the country is celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, is expected to be a platform to take forward the achievement of last 75 years and forge a strong collaboration between academia, industry, innovators, clinicians, healthcare administrators, policymakers, civil society, patient associations, and all that concerned with public health in order to deliver some of the objectives which I would like to reiterate here. Measures to improve infection prevention and control, antimicrobial resistance, WASH practices in healthcare and also in communities to prevent public health emergencies. And we also need to accelerate the adoption of digital health technologies to improve surveillance, rapid diagnostics, and healthcare delivery without losing that personal touch, which is essential part of our care. And last but not the least is the journey which we had to make towards One Health for a holistic approach to our healthcare system strengthening. We sincerely hope that the deliberations and the discussions during the next 3 days will result in practical solutions, suggestions, innovations to improve our health systems. Thank you very much for your kind attention, and let us hope that we are going to have a real good 3 days of deliberations. Thank you once again.
Okay, I request Professor Basudkar Jagdish Sir, Vice Chancellor, University of Hyderabad, to please come forward and take it over.
Good morning to everybody. We are in this high-tech facility and we are part of Public Health Innovation Conclave. As I walked into this very interesting gathering, I realized that we have assembled very interesting stakeholders in the system. We have academicians here, we have industry partners, we have innovators, we have clinicians, and we have management experts, etc., etc. Immediately it struck to me that innovation requires a lot more people, a lot more partners. And we are talking of public health innovation. And public health is a heavily gigantic task. In that context, if India has to be innovative, which it needs to be, we have to really bring in a lot more innovative minds in such conclaves. For example, if you look at the progress that is happening in this space of public health, designs, discoveries, and in general public health space, you will realize that mind-boggling progress is being made. Not only at the academia, but also at multiple other interfaces. People are discovering new toolkits, new designs, new diagnostics, microfluidics, very inexpensive high technology diagnostics, and very high efficient distribution systems, and very efficient outreach systems. In some sense, every aspect of this public health is being innovated in a mind-boggling space. I see most of the stalls here, most of the products that are displayed are all done elsewhere in the world. I'm trying to think, could we have done these here? My answer is yes, we could have. Then the next question is, why did we not do these here? My answer is, we did not partner very well. We have multiple sets of talents in the country, but we hardly crosstalk. Unless we bring the public health, reach out to a larger cross section, and unless we deliver, unless we contribute at a global scale by our innovations, we as a country may never get counted. And if you look at our young people, they are so aspirational. So therefore, it is possible to reposition ourselves in the current situation and maybe give the dividends maybe in a few years' time. We need to really reorient ourselves in terms of our models, in terms of our thinking, in terms of our working styles, and in terms of our ability to re-innovate our minds, rediscover our strengths, and do it on a day-to-day basis at our own individual level and start doing collectively as much as possible, and always look for a newer model that will help us better. So I thought this is the right podium for me to say some of these things. I don't want to be an eloquent teacher here. I'm only trying to express myself. I'm only loud thinking here. And in the process, I remind myself that I have to reorient myself every day. So this is essentially a process that I am going through as I speak here, and the day should not be far away when our own products get displayed elsewhere in the world and people buy them very well. And we have all the capabilities of doing that in India as well as outside India. We just have not decided to do it. Let us decide to do it. In that spirit, I want to thank all of you for bringing me here. And I said what I said from the deep level of my heart. And I want to conclude by saying that these kind of gatherings help us in reminding ourselves that there is a brighter tomorrow, there is a more challenging tomorrow that we, all of us collectively will meet. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Yes, I request Dr. D. Venkeshwar Reddy, Chairman and Founder, AIG Hospitals, to please address the audience and media.
I'd like to thank the organizers of this public health innovations for giving me this opportunity to be here this morning. I'm a gastroenterologist and very little to do with public health till recently. When this COVID pandemic struck us, heading AAG hospitals, it was inevitable that I had to face the challenge. We have also realized over this period that it was a bit like the T20 match. The first 10 overs we didn't do anything, we just bowled out. The next 10 overs I think we took over and we sort of controlled the match. So after the second pandemic, the second wave that came in, we knew everything about the disease, we became very efficient in controlling it, we developed public health mechanisms to see how it can be completely controlled. This was the true innovation that occurred in our institute, for example. So we realized that we were told that the way this disease progresses was totally different from what actually happened. We realized how important it was, not hand hygiene was not important. What was more important was the masks. What was more important was maintaining a little social distance, and all this became very important. We realized also that what these patients require, patients with COVID require, is not just putting them into rooms and somebody just giving some medicines, but they require, like most other diseases, some tender loving care. If a physician or a nurse was going and seeing them once in a way, it was sort of activating the immunity and they're getting all right much faster and better. So there's several things that we realized during this period. And I think this was what turned me, especially from a pure gastroenterologist and researcher, into a public health person. And we realized that public health innovations would become very important at this stage. And as Professor B.J. Rao has rightly said, what we require to do is not to ape the West, but to me, the single most important public health innovation that is required is to make health accessible to all our population. In other words, to make it economically feasible. Our innovations should be directed towards decreasing the costs of health, even if it's going to be mediocre innovation, in the sense that we don't have to be achieving 100% results. Even if we achieve 60 or 70% result, if we're going to decrease the cost, that should be the true aim of innovations in our country. I have had an opportunity as the president of the World Endoscopy Organization to visit over 100 countries. Every single country, including ones like Bangladesh, which we think are not so developed, are much superior to us in terms of health, in terms of access to health, whereas 60 to 70% of our population don't have access to proper health. So what's the point in talking about very high innovations when our innovation should be aimed at how to decrease? So in this context, I think our vaccine manufacturers are, for example, doing extremely well. Although our vaccines are not as efficient as mRNA vaccine, they're still efficient enough to cover 60 to 70% of the population taking the vaccine. Our drug manufacturers are doing a good job. Even if they're not going to innovate something new, they're going to at least take some of these drugs, reverse engineer it and make it cheaper for the public. In fact, 2 new drugs that are going to come out are going to be game changers. We recently actually published a large paper in a journal of internal medicine where we showed that using monoclonal antibodies, you can completely prevent death in this disease. Over the last 2 or 3 months, 1,000 patients have been treated in our institute, and not a single patient became serious when we started using monoclonal. But this is costly. So we're looking for cheaper drugs which have same efficacy. Innovation should lead to that, and I'm sure in the beginning of next year we're going to get this. I'm much more optimistic than Rangareddy is. I think this is not going to be with us for decades. We are very optimistic that by next year, life will come back to normalcy. This is because of the innovation. We're not going to have this big third wave. This is again because of innovations that have occurred in the pharmaceutical industry. We're going to have drugs that are going to tackle disease very early. So what is going to happen is it's going to become like a common cold. You take a drug and nobody cares so much. But what is also going to happen is that this disease will be localized into small endemic areas, small areas of endemicity where people are not completely vaccinated or people are not following proper rules, and it's going to be located to these areas slowly. This is what's going to happen over a period of time. But I think we should learn from the lessons. We should learn a lot of what happened in this period and try to put it into practice again, as Dr. Rao said. We realized many things, simple things. For example, when this second wave came, there's no oxygen in the hospitals. There was, people are dying because of lack of, not because we didn't have oxygen, not because India was not making enough oxygen. We have enough oxygen to give to 10 other countries. The problem was we didn't have oxygen containers to get the oxygen from where it's manufactured to the hospitals. That was the problem. And suddenly, if we asked for 10,000 oxygen carrying containers, we couldn't get them. That was very simple. This was wrong public health planning. And this is, that is a lesson we learned. We learned also several other lessons. I think COVID has not only been tragedy, but it's been a teacher to us. We learned lessons of public health, hygiene, how to tackle communicable disease, and we learned most importantly that it's not communicable disease alone that's important. It is non-communicable disease. Patients with diabetes, hypertension, obesity were dying with COVID, and those who didn't have this were surviving. So it was a connection between non-communicable disease and communicable disease which was becoming very important. We learned this. Several new lessons that we learned. So these lessons have given us an opportunity to innovate, and again I like to emphasize in this conclave that what we should innovate is to make health accessible and cheaper for everybody in our country, and that is the most important innovation. We don't have to have Nobel Prize winners innovating new things to change disease or discoveries. We have to have simple innovations to help our people, to help the large segment of population, to avoid tragedies of not having access. People dying of simple pneumonias in the villages, COVID-related pneumonia, people dying of tuberculosis because they didn't have access to tuberculosis drugs. All these things should not occur, and I think we should percolate down, and that's where our innovation should come in. Again, I'd like to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to be a part of this. Thank you very much.
May I now request Dr. Amit Sharma, Technical Officer, Antimicrobial Resistance Health Laboratories, Infection Prevention and Control, to please address the audience. Can we have a huge round of applause, everybody?
First of all, greetings from the WHO Country Office for India. A very good morning, Shubhodayam, to all the distinguished dignitaries, delegates and guests here. Also, thank you to the organizers for providing this opportunity to me to be a part of this Public Health Innovations conclave with a focus on public health innovations. And I think the previous two speakers have actually, all the three speakers have actually sort of highlighted very important aspects of innovations and public health in India, especially the lessons from the pandemic. But life after the pandemic is still unpredictable. And although we do have a lot of innovations coming up, we still need to continue to follow the COVID appropriate behavior. And AMR or antimicrobial resistance has been identified as an urgent public health challenge for the next decade. It's one of the 13 public health challenges, and we need to look at innovations to address this challenge as well. So I would urge the innovators here to focus on coming up not just with newer drugs, also newer diagnostics, newer ways to prevent infections, as well as newer ways to optimize antimicrobial use in the hospitals. But I would look forward to the AMR session which is there in the afternoon, and I would just like to keep it brief and again remind the 3 W's and 2 V's of the COVID appropriate behavior. The most important, wear your mask. Second, watch your distance. And third, wash your hands. And the 2 V's, get yourself vaccinated and also ensure good ventilation. So thank you very much.
With this, we now request Mr. Krishna Yudhana, General Secretary, Society for Hyderabad Security Council, to please address the audience. Can we have a round of applause?
Thank you. Respects to dignitaries and delegates on the stage of the stage. I would like to first thank Dr. Guri and Srikanth for giving us opportunity to be a partner for this wonderful conclave this year, the current edition of 2021. Hyderabad Security Council
feels very proud to associate once again with HITEX and also for this conclave. SCSC, as we all know, is a collaborative body between the industry sectors, primarily IT industry, and Cyberpark Police, has done immense contributions during the pandemic with involvement of over 500 of its volunteers in taking up a lot of COVID response initiatives, including the world's largest vaccination drive that was done right here in this hall, in these three hangars. I think that was an amazing step towards building confidence and helping in coming out of apprehensions during those days. And I'm looking forward to, also there are industry bodies apart from SCSC like ICA, TFMC, who will bring in the right stakeholders here. For example, as we speak, the entire IT industry, who employs almost 1 million workforce, is looking forward to some return to office plans. At least as we speak today, we have about 8% of the workforce working from offices. But as we step up and gradually increase that, percentage of workforce working from offices, a conclave like this makes a lot of sense for the facility managers and also the HR heads to actually think through and make our facilities ready to bring in our workforce. So I think thanks once again for the opportunity given, Dr. Buri, Srikanth and team, for making us a part of this wonderful conclave. Thanks a lot.
A very good morning to all the participants, delegates, all the distinguished guests on the dais. It is actually very difficult to say anything of significance after hearing such thoughts and talk from such knowledgeable people who are subject matter experts. I am representing Small Industries Development Bank of India, which is a financial institution engaged in promotion, financing and development of MSMEs. And I am thankful to HITEX Hyderabad and IFCAI for giving us an opportunity to get associated with all the exhibitors, all the participants here, to get new ideas, to work on the innovations which are required, very much required in our country right now. And again, I would like to thank the organizers for organizing this wonderful event. And thank you so much, HITEX Hyderabad. We hope to be associated with you in your future events also. Thank you so much.
Respected dignitaries on the dais, of the dais. And really, I'll appreciate organizers for such a wonderful event with Public Health Invocation Conclave, including Indian Control of Academic Society. This concept is because we faced 2 years with the COVID pandemic situation. On behalf of government, Telangana government, actually the Commissioner of Family Welfare, Vakadi Karana, also, Madam also actually invited. She is on meeting, and Dr. Gangadhar is OSD to CM, Chief Minister, is also expected to come. But on behalf of Telangana government, I would like to participate in this inaugural function. I am happy to that such a physical conference after pandemic situation. But we had very, very good experience for the last 1 year, 2 years. This experience is not only a private or government sector, but we are succeeded with a few deaths with our own efforts. It is a teamwork of both private and government institutions work together and control the COVID pandemic situation. I have, from the government side, the government is definitely more towards the public health. First priority is the public health. We had a lot of struggled in establishment our hospitals to be oxygenated. Will now the government hospital, all hospitals in Telangana state had equipped with oxygen pipeline. I proudly say that if next epidemics, next pandemic also will come, the government sector is ready to provide oxygen to everybody. And drugs, we are providing drugs everybody. And in Telangana state, I am happy that the public health, private hospitals are cooperate a lot to control, because one public sector will not be able to control the pandemics, but private hospitals and other social workers, other organizers also is a part of that. We can able to control successfully, but I hope third wave will not come, provided if you everybody take vaccine and encourage our friends, our family members to take vaccine. Still I am telling, vaccine will not protect you from the virus, but it will protect you from death. 90% vaccine will protect you from COVID deaths. And in olden days, we are maintaining social distance, but nowadays we are not maintaining. Olden days, we are taking good water, good health, and mask is what sirs also telling, mask still we can maintain 1 November and another December, 2 months. If you maintain 3, that is mask, social distance and hand sanitizers. By 2022 January, we will going to have a normal life. This is my prediction, because as a public government side, but January onwards, we hope everybody have without mask, we can have wonderful life, what previously 2 years back. Definitely we will going to get this type of future prediction, provided everybody should have a part in taking a public health and preventing completely a pandemic situation. And I would like to thank these organizers, especially Ranga Reddy Garu, good organization, we appreciate it, because after 2 years, physical meetings are occurring. Now, just 1 month back it was started. And from government side, definitely our health minister now, Harish Rao Garu, has taken charge, and CM Garu is ready to help you, private sectors and manufacturers and every organizers who are part of health system. Definitely government will be coordinate with definitely all the important public health relations. Thank you once again for giving the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Last speaker, and with this may I request Dr. G.V.S. Murthy, Director, Indian Institute of Public Health, to please take the session forward.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I'll just remind the group here on the dais that this is actually the second conclave, and in the last conclave I categorically told Dr. Ranga Reddy that I will not take out the mask to speak. This time, because of the various innovations that have occurred, I think I'm happy to take my mask off while speak. So that is the change which has occurred over the last 1 year. I've also been asked to propose a vote of thanks by Dr. Ranga Reddy and the galaxy of the speakers here on the dais. Doesn't mean that those who are off the dais are less of an august galaxy, they're all part of it. Sometimes you have a particular planet which rises above another, but that's just a transient thing. Thank you, Professor Rao Garu, Vice Chancellor of the University of Hyderabad, for being here and sharing some of your thoughts, which were absolutely spot on. They hit the nail on the head in terms of what this conclave is all about. Dr. Nageshwar Reddy, it's a pleasure to listen to you and to talk about the T20 analogy and the way EIG batted over the last 10 overs. It reminds me of the way Australia played yesterday to win the match against Pakistan. So, stiff targets with opportunities is something which we all like to take head on and try to make a difference. And I think you articulated that magnificently. Listening to, of course, Dr. Ranga Reddy Garu in his opening remarks, I think he put together the entire challenge, the reason why we are here, and the way forward. Trying to look at opportunities during a situation like a pandemic. And we need to look at those opportunities in a positive manner, not in a negative sense, but in a positive manner as to what could be the difference that could be made to the future and for posterity. Dr. Anuj, nice to hear from you about what the WHO has been doing, but perhaps more importantly, the fact that you mentioned about being a member amongst member states, which brings me back to the partnerships, collaboration, which Professor Rao talked about, and which was also very well articulated by the other speakers on why we need to work together as an interface between the industry, the academia, and the civil society. All three are important legs of success if you want to look at fighting for the future. Thank you, Dr. Shankar. You've been one of the people who've been always in the forefront. I remember when Professor Peter Piot came here and we visited the IPM and the Infectious Diseases Hospital. That time he was fighting a dengue epidemic, if I remember. Then he went on to COVID, and this year he has both COVID and dengue to deal with. So that's the reality of what is actually happening in our situation. I just want to highlight some more points which were made by trying to put things together. The importance of rethinking our priorities, and I think that is very critical. So for public health to succeed, you have to give it time. Have the patience, but trust that public health can actually deliver the goods. Innovations that we've seen in the past 2 years have actually driven the response to the pandemic. And just to add to what Professor Rao mentioned, I'd just like to state that this year, in the 2021 rankings of the global scientists, compared to 2020, there has been a 15% increase in the number of Indian scientists being recognized among the top 2% of the world. So we have about 500 scientists across the country who now make it to the top 2% bracket globally. The good part is nearly 30 of them are from Hyderabad. So this city is making a difference. This city is making a difference not only in terms of its innovation in science, but also in the life sciences sector by producing the drugs, by making the vaccines available. So Hyderabad is the go-to place for public health and for fighting pandemics. Technological innovations are a waste if they do not result in a social breakthrough, and that is where the affordability and cost effectiveness of interventions comes in. But that tells us that while we are navigating, we also need to look at how do we learn and put that learning to good effect for the future. And that is what this conclave is all about. Thank you, everybody. Thanks to the organizers, the media, and the wonderful panel here. Thank you. Namaskar.